intend to offend, we will offend. And if you have a delicate sensibility, click the X button in the corner, or if you're on a Mac, the red button in the left corner. Monty, welcome to the show of offending people.
Well, it never happened and I make shit up. So for the last couple of weeks, everyone that has asked for a reading, apparently you're all from Scotland, from Hurley in Scotland. And you all live the same lives. It's very metaphysical, because we're all one. And I can't read the Akashic Records. I didn't even have a card.
Welcome to another Friday night comedy show. I am joined by Montesaurus Dean Rex, Bruce the Don MacDonald, and Melissa Hocking Hughes. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, let's get ready to have some fun.
No pressure.
That was my evil laugh, everyone.
Yeah,
Hello, hi everyone.
This is why you're not in Davos. That life was terrible for evil.
Yes. So let's do a quick review. We finally have ended the Johnny Depp trial. As of today, it has gone to the jury. Yes, and today we saw Amber yesterday wear her Dr. Evil outfit again.
Did she? Oh,
yes, she
great.
wore the Dr. Evil outfit again. Exactly.
$7 million
that I never donated.
That I pledged.
And now there's this international. There's all this international joke. Johnny Depp's going to get his $50 million and pledge it to her and never give it to her.
I haven't seen that. That's great.
Yeah, there's all sorts of weird things on the internet about pledge versus donate.
Oh, so many people have said they're going to start pledging their bills and everything. And I think that's what I love
the Dr. Evil outfit.
Yeah.
The latest from North Korea in fashion.
So much. Why did she wear that again? So much fun was made of that. That's like the outfit that got the most notice on the internet. Why would she wear it again?
Well,
or the little Miss. The little Miss
questions about Amber.
Yeah, the little Miss Innocent Bo Peep on day one of her testimony, where she's trying to fake tears and come off as a little innocent woman, a little innocent person. I think that was the funny outfit.
I was saying to the boys before we came on that the secondhand embarrassment of watching her when she's in the witness box actually when she started the whole lost control of herself and started smirking and carrying on at the desk as well. Oh my God, it was painful. So how are you guys all doing out there? Because the last 2 weeks of watching Amber Turd has just been hysterical and painful. It's just, oh my God.
Yes.
No, that's Photoshop, man. There's no tears there.
There's no tears there. Exactly. Anyways, the disaster.
Thursday with Camille was awesome.
Yeah. Yes. So every professional witness she brought on was destroyed by Johnny Depp's team. She brought on Dr. Don Hughes, Dr. Spiegel, and if we ever get a chance, I would like to do a review.
Oh my God.
He did this weird chinny chin thing. That is a demon. That is a demon.
Oh,
and the demon realized he's in front of court and got caught by somebody smarter. And the demon's trying to figure out how to get out of him. But he's like, you're stuck. And I think that guy was on some form of speed.
Absolutely.
Immediately.
Me too. That was the first thing, because when he was just so out of control in himself, and he's like a mega qualified psychiatrist. He's on all sorts of boards. I'm sure they're all dropping him now. But he's... so I actually had a look through him the way that I do as the healer that I am. And absolutely amphetamine struck. He was absolutely driving on everything you could imagine. And it was, which you could tell from his, he was just out of control up there. But it was, I did love Johnny Depp's team's reaction to him. They were just absolutely gobsmacked.
Yeah, just watching him melt down from simple questions. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It was just out of control.
And then Dr. Don Hughes, from day one, when she was cross-examined, whoa! You realize she's a paid assassin. She comes up to assassinate credit and credibility. That's all she does.
It's just nasty.
Yeah.
I've actually had, unfortunately, personal experience with a similar creature over here in Australia, and she's she's nasty. She's the paid assassin. If you pay her enough, she'll say whatever you need her to say with whatever diagnosis you need. And I found myself really sympathizing with, for sure, people were just, I'm sure her career's toileted. And as Dr. Curry's has flown off the Richter.
Yeah, I think Don Hughes has never gone up against a lawyer who could cross-examine her, because I'm sure Dr. Curry knows about her and her testimony and fed specific questions to the lawyers and how to ask them, because not only was she profiling Don Hughes, she knows her style of her testimony, and we knew what was coming because she was already paid to say it.
I mean, I have to admit, I've got a bit of a crush on Dr. Curry myself now. She's gorgeous.
Yeah, her nickname is now Dr. Mommy Muffins.
she is goddamn. She's just wonderfully intelligent, incredibly level person. I really it sounds weird, but I really enjoyed just how level she was, and particularly when she came back and Elaine was just so flustered.
Yeah.
you could see Dr. Curry analysing her, like when Elaine had to walk up and hand her the actual hard copy transcript and then ripped it away before she read it. And she's just going, okay.
Mm-hmm. And then in today's closing statements, Elaine totally messed up. Oh. So Elaine went on. She must have been on. Alert. Right. As it's saying. So she was only supposed to go like 30 minutes, and she went like an hour and 20. So Ben Rottenborn only had 6 minutes to follow up.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Just a question with the Amber Alert: the color or the person?
They
actually in the middle of their final. What's it called, Andrew? The final
rebuttal
statements. Their closing statements in the middle of theirs, Amber's teams. An alarm went off, and the judge accidentally. It wasn't actually an Amber Alert, but she accidentally called it an Amber Alert. The judge did. Hang on, everyone. In the middle of there was an Amber Alert. It actually wasn't that. It was a weather thing, like a tornado warning or something.
Yeah. But it was... the joke is it's wordplay, because her name's Amber as well.
I know. But the fact that Judge Penny actually pulled that out. I mean, I'm a big fan of Judge Penny too, everyone. But that was hysterical. And that really interrupted their flow, their rhythm. It really broke it up as well.
I'm impressed with the...
We're in Australia. I haven't actually seen the closing statements or anything yet.
It's amusing to watch.
Yeah,
I found that interesting.
What you're going to see is
my number one love of the whole thing was Johnny's legal team, and just how damn clever they were. They were so strategic.
Yeah.
And they were smart.
What you're going to see in this is Elaine must have taken Dr. Spiegel's speed drugs, because she was talking so fast, and then she went to dirty lawyer mode, purposely altered facts, and then they started objecting to her, and then the lawyer did the judge basically said, if you do this again, you're going to have serious issues. She did it again and again, and then there was a moment that basically the judge says, if you do this again, you're going to be fined $100,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and that didn't stop her. So literally, she was talking so fast, misrepresenting the facts of the case over and over and over again, and bullying the audience, and no one could even hear or understand. It was as if it was a babbling child on stage with a script.
She must just want it over, though, poor old Elaine. Why are they so scared of Amber? Why is her legal team?
It's more than it's a time limit. This judge has there's a time limit.
I knew that was the case, but the last 5 days in the courtroom, it was clear Amber had said, at least act like you like me.
No. That has nothing to do with that. They were only down to 3 hours.
Oh yeah.
So each side has 60 hours. At the end of last week's testimony, it started out. JD's team had 18 hours, and Amber's team had 8.
So this trial has to be the make or break point for a few publicists in LA, man. How do you spin this at the end of it? How do you save Amber and get her a movie? And like, how much?
Yeah, you suggest OnlyFans or Vivid Video. That's the spin.
You know about that, Mr. Bartzis.
Because guess what? What are they going to ask her to do? Shit on this. They're going to ask her to be shitting on everything. That's the type of videos she'll be doing.
Scat star.
Come up. Did they remind everyone of the fact that she actually defecated on someone's bed? I mean, that's
yes. Yes.
Oh, good. I'm glad they brought that up.
And blamed it on the dog, a Teapcock Yorkie, and the shit is bigger than the dog. So there's another hashtag going around, Justice for Boo, which is the dog, and he wants to sue for defamation.
Well, the weird thing is those dogs almost got killed when they came to Australia to film the last Pirates of the Caribbean.
The actual paperwork is in Australia. There's actual paperwork that she's genuinely being investigated for perjury now regarding that. There's actual paperwork filed in LA as well that she's under investigation. And her former best friend, what's her name? Raquel, someone.
Racky Pennison,
they're both under formal investigation now for perjury in LA as well.
Yeah, but it'll go nowhere. It will go nowhere. Here in the States, it'll go nowhere. They don't prosecute unless you're a senator, a congressman, or a high-level business person.
That's just it with Johnny Depp too. Like, this is a defamation case. It's not actually a criminal case regarding domestic violence. And so the likelihood of Johnny actually winning, I mean, he should. They've more than proven, and she actually admitted on her last day in the stand, idiot actually said, that's why I wrote the op-ed about him. We've
exactly.
won the case. We've won the case. But, and so hopefully the jury's got their brain on and they heard that. But yeah, that's still because of the whole, excuse me, everyone, I don't mean to be offensive in the States. I think it's your Second Amendment, freedom of speech, blah, blah, blah. First Amendment, sorry. It's the apologies that I got that wrong, everyone, but that makes it really hard to win a defamation case in the United States. The whole freedom of speech thing does. So that's where it gets really difficult. So, but he's already won. This is always more about a publicity structure than about the actual case itself. And it was brilliantly done. He has already won.
Mm-hmm. So part of Ben Rottenborn's rebuttal and counter rebuttal was draping everyone in the American flag and the right to free speech, and the Memorial Day coming up, and that America's founded on free speech, and Amber has the right to say what she wants to say. And they tried throwing that in, and ultimately that's known as the Chewbacca defense.
Yes,
that's all they had. That's all they had left was the Chewbacca defense. And again, what Elaine did, it's actually worthwhile if you've followed any of this trial, and you can see what Elaine's like when she's given time to do whatever, but put under this unique time constraint where she had to cover everything, because she came on after Ben Rottenborn, who did a really good job and quite possibly could have redeemed something, but she comes on and erases everything he did. And she goes talking so fast and abusing the facts so much and having objections. Normally it's you don't even object at all under extreme circumstances in these final arguments. It's
closing remarks. No, you could, because you don't do it. Like,
you can only under extreme events. And she kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And it's called an order of Curry, which was essentially what was done. So I'm sure at the end of the case that the judge is going to tell her, pull out your checkbook and start writing. I didn't want to do it during the trial, but after the trial, you are.
Yeah, there was that beautiful moment with the guy that came in, I forgot, Tremaine, that came in from talking about TMZ. And there was that gorgeous moment with him where he said to her, I'm not after my 15 minutes, but the same could be said about you taking this client on. That was brilliant. And
then what she said, you can't say that. And the judge said, yes, he can. The judge said, yes, he can.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a big fan of Judge Penny. She was gorgeous.
Yeah.
But, particularly when every now and then she'd say something about, she wasn't too far off it toward the end. She's pretty sick of their crap. But she, particularly she'd come in and say, listen, my mother's just mentioned that I'm not doing this right, because her mum's watching everything. And that was gorgeous too.
Yeah.
But, she was fabulous in a really stressful, really bizarre environment. And when the when the barrister came in for TMZ, bizarre. That was bizarre.
Yeah, beyond bizarre.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And he said, look, I know this is out of the norm. And she goes, yeah, that's this case.
Yeah.
You know, she was like, huh?
And when
that was bizarre.
When Camille did the counter examination on Amber afterward, the only way they can get the copyright is if it comes from who. And she couldn't admit it and said, I wasn't me. And if I'd have done it, I'd done it better.
Oh my God. She's in this. Oh my God. The lies in that was just painful. You're just like, chick, what are you thinking? We've all seen the evidence. Like, there's so much evidence. Come on.
Here's a question for you. Here's a question for you. What would the title of this soap opera be called? Because I drifted out for a second and I came back and it was like Andrew's doing blah, blah, blah. And then Camille said this and like, this, what show is this again? Like it sounds like a soap opera. So what would be the title for this soap opera?
Tales of a Sociopath on Stand. In a courtroom. Because
it's not really going to sell that well in Wisconsin.
No, because
Sands of Time.
Even though Dr. Curry gave her a diagnosis of borderline personality disorder and histrionic, those are all they needed to prove she's crazy. But in fact, she's a sociopath. Emotionless, a full-on sociopath, and probably even at the psychopath level because of the aggressive damage she does to everyone in her life.
Your title doesn't really. Claire's in the chat room's got a better title if you want to read that.
As the turd turns, yes.
Yeah. As the turd turns, we now return to Courtroom B.
Now, how would someone as smart and capable of getting anyone he wants, pretty much like Johnny Depp, how would he?
Can I answer that?
How would he find himself in the web of a psychopath like that?
Okay, I'm sorry, gentlemen. I'm going to say this out loud, and I apologize right now. But men turning 50 make bad decisions. I don't know what it is.
No. Wait. I'm 48. I can jump in. Men make bad decisions. No, you don't need the 50 bit. Yeah, men make.
No, for some reason. It's the
midlife. Is that connected to the midlife crisis?
The line there, Monty.
Sorry, the golden turtle world. But it's no, look, honestly, I see this happen again and again. I'm not sure if it is a midlife crisis or what it actually goes on, but you see, and that's actually around the same period that he met Amber. And his marriage with Vanessa kind of fell apart, and a lot went on. I don't even know what goes on, but for some reason, I'm forever saying to people, I wouldn't date a man that's from 48 until he's after 52. Like, if I could meet the most perfect man, but if he was in that age bracket, I'm not touching you, dude. I'll see you in a few years.
So there's more to the story. He left his wife for Amber. Now, what Amber did during that time was complete his broken energy. His energy, because that's what they do, is they fill all your voids. That's what these people do. That's the type of personality that is. They fill all your voids, right? And as soon as they have you in their space, yeah, as soon as they have done that, they have you in their thing and got you away from your normal environment is when they start showing you the other side a little bit and then full on. Yeah, she stole him away and filled, because he has a lot of issues. He was horribly verbally and physically abused by his mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't even begin to realize, and she filled all those voids, all those hurt spots, filled them and drenched him in a love that he didn't get from anyone else. And yes, do 50-year-old men make that mistake? Absolutely. Okay? Absolutely do they make that mistake over and over again. But in this situation, this was targeting of an individual from day one. She targeted him.
Absolutely, yeah. So, like you're talking before about Dr. Spiegel and the demon that was within him, what the hell's going on in Amber?
So this is a person that's so highly functionable at the sociopath, psychopath level, they trap demons in them and feed off of them.
It sounds like Amber,
yeah.
She's not controlled by a demon. She eats them.
she eats them. And we had somebody in another show that I talked about that before. And this is another example. They're so high functioning in the other realms, they capture lower level and higher level spirits and put them to work like thugs.
Yeah.
Okay, put them to work like thugs, and they send energy up the scale to her. That's how they maintain that high functioning. That's how they're able to control the energies of rooms. No, consciously. Remember, there's always an inner dialogue going in the borderline personality histrionic side, and that dialogue is it is the psychic dialogue from all different realms, forcing the manipulation as the final manifestation.
Yep.
She's just, it was fascinating in terms of the histrionic stuff. I mean, she's like textbook. She's full on extreme level of it. And she actually, in the last 5 days of the trial, went into full psychosis. Like she was actually, it's horrible, everyone, but it was fascinating to watch. But she, and absolutely believed she was going to get away with this right up till the very end. Absolutely believed she did.
Right. And still believes it. And after the verdict comes out, but then everyone's going to leave her, because who's going to pick her up if she appeals, and she can't appeal on evidence. She can only appeal on trial structure. And this judge left no room for appeal. No, and they can't even say that it was a failure of her lawyers, because everyone already knows it's her own testimony that screwed her. Okay.
Yeah,
it
was hard to see them actually. Once she hit the stand the first time, you saw the change in her legal team, and they realized she'd absolutely bullshitted, lied to them. Right. Yeah, she'd absolutely lied to them, and they were stuck because they'd been lied to, and you could see the change in her legal team where, oh my God, what the hell are we going to do?
Yeah,
right.
But
there was a moment. Go ahead, Bruce.
In her defense, lawyers really aren't looking for those lies until they get 1,500 hours billed.
Well, they had 1,500 hours. They had 1,500 hours billed 4 years ago. Remember,
they paid up front
$6 million. That's how much she paid. She admitted that in court, and her own lawyers. Every lawyer stood up on her side and said, "Objection." That happened.
Objection. Please remove that receipt.
Yeah.
It was a pledge, not paid.
But it'd be interesting to see the fallout for it, because not enough people believe that she's innocent. There are people that are still hanging on, but it's like the Rittenhouse thing. It's like, oh, he killed some black people. It's like, did you tell me you didn't watch the court case without saying I didn't watch the court case? Because he shot 2 white guys in self-defense.
Yeah.
But the people still have that meme that Michael Jackson is a child molester because he paid someone in the 90s.
That's ugly. No.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Because 14 charges were dropped in court, and they were hammering it because he's weird and extremely rich and jealous. I'll give one example and then drop it. Is that but he had kids sleeping in his bedroom. Yeah, his bedroom was the size of a New York apartment.
Right.
Like, the parents were also in the bedroom.
Yes.
Which is a New York apartment. Anyway, but it's how they can they grab onto people grab onto the they prefer, it's not a lie, but they prefer an alternative reality to certain things, and they run with it, which is kind of how the Democratic Party in the United States, is running the country, because they believe they're saving the country. And how much is gas now?
I don't know.
It's $5.47 a gallon here.
Ouch! Because it was something last time I spoke there.
Yeah, it's out. It went up. It went up. That was what I told you. It was on last Saturday. It was $4.47. It's gone up $1 in 5 days. Yeah.
And I think here roughly, if it's $2 a liter, that's $9 a gallon. Yeah, it's 4.5 liters per gallon.
Look, back to the topic where someone in the chat room just mentioned Johnny Boy's the poster boy now. And look, Johnny Depp's awesome. And I actually have set a new goal in my life that I want to be as generous as him. Like, I didn't realize how generous the man is. He's beautiful. Yeah. But he's always been beautiful. Like, from this certain movies you look back on, like Benny and June. If you haven't seen Benny and June, watch that. He is spectacular and he's beautiful in it. And he's playing someone with special needs, and it's It's a gorgeous movie. It's not one, but it's a gorgeous movie, and it gives you a real idea that he's a lovely character. But and he's got his faults too, and a lot of his faults came out when he just was pushed so hard he had to react. You saw it, you heard it in all the hideous illegal recordings.
It did come out on. It did come out on Twitter. It's like, I'm not sure who needs to be told this, but in court, it was revealed that Johnny Depp did drugs.
Yes, I think that the floppy fish statement text was the most important one telling, because it was the day everything was crashing around him, all the Me Too stuff. I'll have to search for it, but it's a really long text where he describes her as an old, very poetic, used up, dried Sahara Desert vagina of floppy fish, and they jump onto Amber Heard as she's saying this, and she's like, me, and she's to hear
so hard to cry.
No, she was offended by it. That's because she still loves him. She's still attached to him. Yeah.
That's just it. She's that, and I can say this again from experience, sadly, she'll never stop being obsessed with him.
Never.
This won't stop her. She's only going to get worse in her obsession of him and to get his attention. And the person that I have that experience with, I divorced this person 17 years ago. And he's still
with the people on the channel on the show, like, it's just this lifetime, right? Johnny doesn't have to worry about this for the next 3 lifetimes.
No, that's why this court case went to this level.
No, this is where the karma went to the point that it has.
It's kind of triggering me where, like, in the alternative conspiracy, what's the term? Other world that we have, the alternative world. Oh, this is a distraction. Well, no, it's not. It can be a distraction, but it's not, because there's a lot of people that I know, like, I think, as I said, because I follow the Veronicas on Instagram, not in real life. I get in trouble if I do it in real life, but they're following it as well. They're addicted to it as well. And it is basically, and Andrew, you can help me out, because I mentioned it. There's a lot of domestic violence organizations that are supporting Johnny. That's the level where it's not finally, but it's reinforcing that domestic violence is not one gender.
Right. And
that needed to happen, although the pendulum swung a little bit too far again to the other side, but hopefully we'll start to even in. But one thing I will say, I was actually invited into a discussion yesterday because the fastest way for me to actually catch up on what was happening was to go on TikTok. So that was the fastest way for me. And I ended up commenting on a couple of amazing lawyers and solicitors and barristers that were commenting on what this meant legally. Because, as I said, I found far more fascinating the legal strategy behind this. And I actually got invited into a discussion yesterday about it because, which we did a quick grab that's on TikTok, but with a group of us. Because I actually commented, one barrister was saying about the enormous damage Amber Heard's done. She's pretty much killed me too, blah, blah, blah. And she was saying that this is going to make it so much harder for people that actually have been abused. Now they're going to actually have to prove abuse, blah, blah, blah. I was actually saying, and my comment to her was, I agree, except surely the disgusting individuals, and if you're doing this to an ex-partner or whatever, I'm talking to you, the people that deliberately go in and lie about being abused, like Amber has, right? Surely people that would use that as a weapon in the judicial system to get back at whoever they need to eventually, surely they're going to think twice now. Watching the utter humiliation of this woman being called out on such a public case, surely the people that would fake abuse and lie about it just as a revenge tool through the judicial system are going to second guess and say to themselves, actually, maybe I shouldn't do that now. And that's why I got called onto it, because I was saying that was actually, a lot of the barristers hadn't thought of that. They actually hadn't thought that people at that level would start to rethink, should I do that? My God, will I be humiliated as much? And yes, you bloody will. You will be that humiliated. Eventually, the truth comes out.
So there will be those that are influenced to not do it. But when you're already at that level of high crazy where you believe you're right and you believe your own lies, it won't stop people. But what the biggest damage it's going to do is to the people who are actually abused. It has given lawyers the tactics of how to defend this and make real people seem as if they're lying. That's the real damage. And that's why so many of the women's support groups are very much behind Johnny Depp, because they realize the lawyering here has completely changed the entire makeup of what's going to happen for the rest of the people that are going through this type of horrible abuse.
Yeah.
Well, I had the idea of, obviously they're not that good, but when someone is charged and convicted of rape, it's say 20 years or I think it should be a bit longer. But what I think is if you have false allegations of rape, should be the same amount of time.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that needs to come in too. I think people that, again, that vengeful tool of saying you were raped and it's my word against his, but I'm the little victim and I'm a girl and I'm all of that sort of stuff. The people that do that need to burn. They need to burn as well.
I'll give you an example, how lying can influence society. Roe versus Wade.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. Like, Roe wasn't actually gang raped and wasn't pregnant. Like when it came out in the 70s, and she came out and said, no, I lied. Because the whole idea of it was about privacy and so on and so forth. But yeah, she became a reborn Christian and said, I did bad things, said this stuff. But of course that got pushed all out of the way because that Roe versus Wade can be used as a political tool. And here we are. So I just wanted to just point that out again.
It's hard enough when I live in Australia. Australia has a remarkably misogynistic society. It's I won't go into the roots of it and what's gone on, but there's an enormous disrespect for the feminine in this country, and it's something a lot of people come from other places. They see it. I think we're only outdone really by South Africa, but speaking as someone that unfortunately is experienced in this, I can tell you that the percentage of people that actually, when you report a rape and actually have that person criminally charged and pay for it, something like, it's ridiculous. It's like it's like 1.2%. Right. And the torture that the victim goes through the court system is even worse. And so it's just there's a lot.
Same with child abuse as well. Go ahead, Andrew. Sorry.
So what I want to point out here, the most important part about the final rebuttal part is where Camille said, "Me Too" is about 2, 3, 4, and 5 people coming out about the same person and saying I was abused. Not one person has come out other than Amber Heard and said that he was abusive to anyone. Me Too as a movement, it means there are more than one coming out against you. So that statement gives Me Too a chance to survive, but their extremism is what's going to implode them. The majority of newspapers here are pro-Amber, and there's a reason why. They have to support her up to the end, because once they go to write the retraction, they're going to forget about it. Okay, they're still trying to support the Me Too movement from completely failing. And the extreme liberals here and the LGBTQ rights being forced on everyone when it's a tiny part of the actual population, which is the high-level elites forcing extreme tribalism onto people.
It's one of my questions I had. Why are all the articles supporting her coming out of the States? But you just explained that.
Yeah.
Because the article's been distributed globally, mostly through Rupert Murdoch's papers, of course. And but they're all coming out of the United States. Right. And so, that explains it.
And if you look at what's gone on since the Johnny Depp trial, Ukraine, Roe v. Wade turned over, none of that stuck in the media. And is it because of Johnny Depp? Partially, but they're tired of the extreme aggressive rage reactions that's been forced on television for the last 6 years. Johnny Depp was just a way to get that justice out, that justice for Johnny hashtag. Even justice for Boo the dog is at like 3 million people supporting it.
And the weakness of Roe versus Wade
is like billions.
Yeah. Because everyone's watching the court case and going, hang on a moment. Like Roe versus Wade, that can be diffused by saying, they're abolishing abortions. No, they're thinking about moving authority from federal to state. That's the whole crux of the whole thing. But everyone's like, no, they're banning abortions. They're just jumping to the thing. But if you say that, people go, oh, now it doesn't mean you can forget about it, whatever, and you can still be engaged and make sure, your beliefs and everything else like that. But you notice, I think, let's go a bit conspiracy. Let's open a theory book here. That's why there's that shooting. And also, strangely enough, around the death anniversary of George Floyd, did you see what Barack Obama tweeted? Somehow he went from killing kiddies bad, but let's remember George. That's a bit of a jump.
Yeah.
He wants to switch the narrative. That's what he's desperately trying to switch the narrative.
Yeah,
desperately trying to switch it. Yeah.
Look, what was appalling was I did actually see the statistics on how fast the media coverage of the appalling supermarket mass shooting, the racism, disgusting thing, how
Buffalo?
quickly that left. Yeah. How quickly that left the media under the trial. And then, now we have, and look, seriously, guys, I know that many of you don't want to hear this, but you've got to change your gun laws over there. You've got to. And this is someone that knows weapons, but I know weapons. I'm not an idiot. I wouldn't walk around with an assault rifle slung over my shoulder like a dumbass, because I'm telling you right now, a slung rifle is just an ornament as you fall.
Right.
All right.
You're real quick. I know the gun laws here. They're just not enforced. They're not given the money, and the ATF is a corrupt organization that is just in for money. And the same with the cops. The gun law. There's more than enough gun laws to stop this. The thing is, it's the criminality that has been forced by laws that force people into criminal actions. You're never going to stop a black market. You had a big shooting that has gone on in every country. You just don't hear about it. So to say that the blame is American gun laws is actually wrong. It's the politicians and the enforcement situations that are being told how to interpret the law and not interpret or disregard the other laws.
And you can look at Chicago. The media is focusing on this one shooting, which even if it's a false flag, people died. That's the kids getting
children died.
Yeah,
that's
children that had no hope of problem solving their way out of that.
Yeah.
Died.
Okay, let's look at Chicago. That's been going on for years. It's gun-free zone, and because everyone's trying to be gangster. How many innocent kids have been shot by a spray bullet from a drive-by? And it's gone on and on and on and on. Right. And so I've only seen one person from the left actually say we need to look into gun laws and mental health. Everyone else doesn't say the mental health part, but she did. She has her own mental health, but it is as well because, I've seen people list all the shootings, and I would say 99% of them all had mental problems or were on psychotropic drugs, or all that type of stuff. It's now obviously you can look at England where there's no guns, but knife crime has gone through the roof. If someone's insane, batshit crazy, and is angry, they'll find a way. Now, obviously, you could be pedantic. It's like, but if you've got a gun, you can kill people quicker. But let's try and stop killing anyone.
Right. So Greg Abbott, the Texas governor, said the most important thing, Tay, before the Texas shooter even fired the first round, he has already committed a felony by entering a school zone with a gun. That's not going to stop them. Laws aren't going to stop these people. Enforcement is going to stop it. Cops knowing your community. Cops were told, arrest everyone, stop doing community development, stop winning the hearts and minds. When the cops get back to being cops, where you win the hearts and minds of your local thing, crime disappears.
Yeah.
And also go into, don't wait 40 minutes to go in.
We're talking.
It was 90, wasn't it?
Yeah, 90 minutes.
It was absurdly long, long. And I would have been a mum. So for me, I wouldn't have been the cop that went in and got my own kids out while their colleagues stood there waiting around. I would have been the woman that ran in and broke them up.
They maced and tased parents. They maced and tased parents from going out.
To stop the parents from going in.
I've got a question. How can an unemployed 18-year-old can afford 2 rifles and hundreds of rounds of ammunition?
He saved up. He saved up, and he had a job too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, also he's got a history of the violence at the home and police, and I think was he on an FBI list as well? The FBI.
No, he didn't. He didn't make the FBI list. That was the other guy, the other Florida guy that did that.
Yeah. Okay.
This particular guy, a lot of truth's going to come out that the left doesn't want to know about him. They don't want to know. Like, is he transgender? Is he in trans state? More than likely he is, but they've scrubbed the internet of all of his stuff. Okay? So good reporting will reveal that, and the left is going to have a very time. No, he's not MK Ultra.
No, I think he's a natural.
He's a natural.
I said to Sean David Morton, and he laughed.
MK Ultra?
Mind control to turn people into assassins or butterflies, people that go after rich people to take them down.
Manchurian candidate, which actually was revealed to the public in the 80s. And that's kind of where part of the premise of Stranger Things, the TV show, that's elements of MK Ultra coming out. Yeah. Which I think, it's people, that's not real, but the government said it is.
God said it is. So there's going to stuff come out about this particular shooter that the left media is going to have to hide. Well, when the parade, the guy that drove through the parade last year and killed 52 people, when it was found out he was black, it disappeared from the media.
Yep.
Disappeared.
The subway shooter, racist, who happened to be black, that dropped was
disappeared
because it's about agenda, not actually about pure justice. I was having a chat with Andrew this week where I'm not against social justice. I'm for justice. It falls underneath it. I remember saying to Bruce as well, I'm not against trans rights. I'm for human rights because transgender are human, right?
Yeah, it falls under that. So we originally were talking about Johnny Depp and we moved into this other subject matter. I want one last thing to say about Johnny Depp. No matter how the court comes back, Johnny's already won. And if some weird reason Amber does win, they bought the jury. Okay? This jury was never sequestered. Did they get that? Would I put it past Amber's team of going after a jury? No, I wouldn't. But in all reality, they only need one jury to make it go to a locked position. Okay? But obviously, Johnny has already won. Johnny has already won, and the only thing that can stop it is if they completely reward Amber Heard $100 million, even though the woman has never made more than $2 million on a single movie.
Yeah. So I think he's won too. You guys must have really watched a great deal of this. I mean, I just watched YouTube highlights at the end of the night.
I was, as I said last time, I've been obsessed since day one watching this, as much of the trial as I could, and then catching up on the live streams. Because again, I was looking at this not from Hollywood point of view. I was looking at it with all the spiritual sites and the karmic values, and every person that Amber Heard, even in the final statements, what Camille said is Johnny Depp had all these people appear live in the court. The only person that appeared live for Amber Heard was her sister. None of her best friends appeared in court, and the only other people that appeared for Amber were expert paid witnesses.
Yeah. Oh, that poor tortured soul, her sister. Yeah. That poor girl.
There is a rumor. Yeah. There is a rumor that.
I agree. Camille was awesome.
What's his name? What's his first? Danny Jr. What's his first name again? Who? The guy who played Iron Man.
Robert Downey Jr.
There's a rumor that Robert Downey Jr. is thinking of putting Johnny Depp in Sherlock Holmes 3.
Yes.
Oh, I'd heard he signed.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's not signed.
It's not still. Signed. I mean, can you imagine that coup? Because, he got screwed out of the Harry Potter prequels, and he was good in those. Yeah. And so by changing it,
he was.
Yeah.
He's so good at being creepy.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I saw an actress saying, I've worked with Johnny, and when you're on a set, like a major film, you spend 12 hours a day, filming about 6 minutes. You know what a person's like. And exactly. Johnny Depp is a complete gentleman. Okay. If he's such a violent, batshit crazy, insane megalomaniac, why would he dress as Jack Sparrow and go into hospitals to make kids laugh?
Right.
On his own back, like doesn't do that paid.
It wasn't like a publicity stunt. It's like, no, this will be fun.
Right, and he didn't do it. Didn't do it once or twice. Just done it hundreds upon hundreds of times. Yeah. Okay, and once again, Me Too means more than one person comes out, and only Amber Heard came out to say that he was abusive. Okay, where are the rest of them?
Well, the opposite, right? Kate Moss testified.
Yeah. Wasn't she fabulous?
Yeah.
And I love Amber's term that Kate Moss came out of the woodwork. What woodwork? What the woman's always like.
Yeah, she's everywhere.
Are you a little jealous?
Yeah, that obscure model that no one's heard of.
Yeah.
That's a classic Celt.
And she's just and she was on for like 3 minutes, and I think more than any other thing in the whole trial, Amber was just absolutely overcome by her own jealousy and rage. She was just in 3 minutes you watched Amber lose her shit.
Yeah, totally lose her shit. Exactly.
So what
oh my God.
Like the social icon that is Kate Moss, because I don't think she's really had a scandal. And she's huge and, very attractive, easy on the eye.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, when you have a social icon like that come in and defend you, it's like everyone's like, ooh, the weight of integrity that comes from but Kate Moss says that's not right. Like, well, no, that's it, people. The Lady Moss has said.
So the only thing that could ever be considered a scandal by her was some cocaine use. Oh my God, she used cocaine in the 90s, which everyone did. Supermodel? Exactly. Yes.
I'm sitting down, Andrew. I'm glad I'm sitting down when I heard that. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, she was lovely, and the thing was that turns out that it was a little bureau, like a little sort of hotel hut in Jamaica, where, of course, they have massive tropical storms. So the water on the ground would have been enormous. And it was 3 little wooden steps out of the bureau that she fell down, that she slipped and the feet went up and she went down. And that makes sense that's how it happened. But then the beauty of the fact that he was already gone ahead of her. And apparently when he turned around and ran back, there was so much water on the ground that he fell over as he was running back to her, got up, picked her up, carried her in, got medical help for it. Mm-hmm. Right. And it was just,
the bastard.
Good one, Amber. Yeah, may have misinterpreted that, but it was the demise of Amber was just painful to watch.
Has she been removed from Aquaman 2? I know they were cutting. She's down to 10. She's down to 10 minutes. The last time I heard.
I'm sure they're waiting for the.
Now.
I'm sure they're waiting for the actual trial to be done and over with before they do whatever they're going to do.
Yeah, the result.
And right now, supposedly Emilia Clarke was there to take over, but I think Aquaman 2 was scheduled to be released next year. They moved it to next year. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they've pushed it right back, haven't they?
Well, no, they pushed it back. This was before the trial began. It was already pushed back. It was having major issues because the Warner Brothers was being bought out by Discovery Channel. And now that Discovery Channel has come in and take over and realized how bad it really is inside Warner Brothers, they're either completely canceling projects or making them slow down and go back and look at the stupidness that they're doing, like trying to put out gay Superman, because they did, and DC Comics put out a gay Superman.
Yeah, they did.
They're napalming. They're like in the Vietnam War, where they napalm the forest to let the Viet Cong not be able to hide anywhere. That's what's happening in Warner Brothers. Like I think the CEO has gone right, because it was owned by AT&T, a communications company, and the accountant said, "Oh, we can make money. Let's release all these films." But it sounds like Discovery have creative people in it, and they're like, "Right, let's make money properly and create things."
Yeah.
So for them to reshoot this movie, they would have to, like, a lot of the actors would have to say, I don't want to get paid more for reshoots for this movie to be successful, because you're talking another $75 million in reshoots minimum. Okay. Maybe even 100 million in reshoots, because you got to break contracts and get people who wouldn't be doing other things back in a situation, and then all the graphics have to be changed.
But the other side of it is, imagine Like people will go and see the movie that probably wouldn't have gone to see the movie if they take Amber out of it. Like
You're right.
they will make a truckload more money from the actual movie if they do it, because it's got such Johnny Depp's, Justice for Johnny Depp has, what is it? 6.8 billion.
It's not that big.
Like
it's in the millions, not the billions.
No, it's billions. It's billions.
No, it's not.
Now.
No, it's not. No, it's
but
not.
No. But yeah, it's enormous. They're going to have to do the math. They're going to have to sit down and say, calculate, is the gamble worth it from a business sense?
Just had a thought. What Jason Momoa must think was like, hang on, everything I touch goes really well for about a week and then falls to shit. Game of Thrones, Justice League. He's good at what he does.
He's a terrific person.
At least in Jason Momoa, as a character, he was already dead before they fucked it up. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, but the biggest thing to understand here is the hashtag remove fire Amber Heard from Aquaman has got almost 5 million people signing it. Even if she's in it for 1 minute, those 5 million people have declared they won't see the movie. Is too big of a hit. $5 million times $18 a movie now. That's what it averages to go see a full. You can figure the money out. And that means it's long-term survival. It's got to stay in the box office 20 weeks for it to make that $1 billion+ dollars. Yes, 3D is $20 or $14 now. All the major movie theaters did a 30% price increase.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, inflation.
Yeah,
Floor's
asking you something, Andrew.
I shared a meme of the question is, do you think inflation is affecting your life? And no was 127%, and yes was a 198%. It's a math joke. Don't worry.
So if they take her out and are able to redo the reshoots, and the movie comes out the end of 2023, that means it gets delayed again. Will the movie be a $1 billion blockbuster like the first one? Yes, it will. If they leave her in and just fix whatever they can, will it be a $1 billion blockbuster before? It won't. And that's going to come down to the math of money.
Yep, it is.
So somebody has a question. I wanted to ask Andrew about Amber's psychopathy. I had a friend that's a bit twisted like her, and it's super confusing. Well, these people are never going to let you see what's really inside them. That's why it's confusing. You're never going to get an accurate picture of who they are. Remember, the actions that they do tell you who they are. And you have to take off your filters of perception so that you can see what these actions really are and the impacts that they make. The language that they say and how they defend themselves tells you who they are too. When they use these flowery, long statements that mean nothing, you know you're dealing with an advanced manipulative personality. All you have to do is repeat what they said to them. If you're smart, you should have a cognitive ability. Anything said in the last 10 minutes, you should be able to adequately bring up, you just said this. And as soon as they start gaslighting you, and as soon as you start using the anti-narcissistic process, which is not making it about them. So if they're trying to talk about themselves and the project they're doing, man, that must really advance the project instead of that must really advance to you. There are, again, unique techniques to deal with these people that takes away their personalization and doesn't make you the attacker.
There's a technique that they use, isn't it? There's a it's a five-letter acronym for the technique they use, where they turn it around and turn you, like they make themselves the victim.
Yeah.
And start, And I mean, that's often part of any sort of psychological abuse that someone will use, but particularly someone histrionic uses that with great aplomb.
Right.
Mm.
So
and
again,
it's called like Devoc or something. I can't remember what it is, but
when you're dealing with these people, you have to learn subtle interrogation.
Yeah.
Because
don't go on the assault.
Don't go on the assault. Subtle interrogation is where you'll learn about the person and take notes. When you're done and out of their situation, take notes. And there is where you will instantly see through the story that they're creating every second around them. They are manipulating the minutia of the story.
if you go after them like they went with, even if you behind the scenes, you go, is that story true? They've told them, you do a bit of research and find out they've completely lied to you and it's completely untrue. Do not throw that at them for your own sake. They will do what Amber did. They will just dig in deeper and assault you. Mm-hmm. They will absolutely say, no, I'm still blatantly lying on the stand to you in front of how many millions were watching the whole thing. But it was
James, hold on. James, don't say I'm repeating what I'm hearing. That's an attack. You have to learn to depersonalize it. So you said, did you say it this way? I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. And let them re-edit in front of you. Yeah. That's the subtle interrogation. Go ahead, Monty. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, it's all right. I allow you when friends tell the same story. You don't cut them off. Yeah, I heard this. You let them hear the story again, because if it changes, it's like, well, hang on. Right. But if you hear the same story, it's like, oh, that's what they said the last 20 times. It's a nice friend. Maybe I have issues, but it's a great friend friend buffer to see if they're lying to you or not. It's like, hang on, okay.
See, this happens to Monty week, and I.
Yeah,
because Monty will use the same joke, and I just keep laughing, even though I know he's using the same joke with different audiences, not to the same people. And I will do the similar thing the difference with me, I'm a terrible liar because I immediately confess that I've lied. I'm terrible at it. And then with the story that I tell about a client or a story, I never give away personal details, everyone, but when I'm teaching, I will tell stories of client experience, blah, 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 and all that sort of stuff. And Monty's probably heard me tell the same story 20, 40 times over the years because it's a great example of it. But at the same time, I'll usually say, look, if you've heard me say this before, I apologize. Like, I'll actually open with that. You've probably heard me mention this before. So that's why you know that I'm not histrionic, because I blatantly confess. But with the lying thing, at our clinic, if I answer the phone, like if the phone's ringing and I'm closest to it, I pick it up, right? It's just all hands on, no hierarchy in my place. But if I pick up the phone, I've had to give myself a fake name, because if people hear that it's me talking to them, I'm on the phone forever. Well, they start unloading. Right? And it's like, and no, I'm not bagging anyone that does that. They call because they're in need of help, right? So that's fine. So we came up with a fake name for me, which I'm not going to tell you what it is in case I answer the phone.
Don't worry, this show's only globally and goes through multi-dimensions. But yeah, just let it slip. Go on.
But the minute I get off the phone where I've said, yeah, it's me, I'm going to give you a fake name. I'll say, yeah. And they say, oh, who am I talking to? You're so helpful. And I'll say, oh, hi, I'm Celeste. I'll give him some other name. And mind you, I've got a pretty distinctive voice. If you've ever seen me speak or on the show here, you'll probably know it's me anyway. But I'll say, hi, I'm Celeste. And I'll, okay, I'll see you later. I hang up the phone and I'll turn to everyone that's there and go, I'm sorry, I just lied. And they're all like, yeah, we were here.
Well, I'm a Pisces, so I don't lie. I just admit 80% of the truth. So I'm not lying. I just refuse to give you all the stuff. Like, what did you do last week? I went out. I mean, I could have gone out and raced for Ferrari cars and met supermodels and everything. Oh, I went for a drink. It just happened to be with Metallica, but you know what I mean? It's that Pisces thing of like, I'll give you the premise.
Right. So along the same lines, Melissa, there are times when I'm in speaking and I'm telling about a session or something, and there are times that what I do is I take two separate terrible situations and make them the same one because of the unique audience I have in front of them.
Yeah.
Is that lying? It's still teaching. And
I use 3 or 4. I actually
into one,
yeah,
right?
That's right. So it's not actually about anyone specific.
Exactly. And then there's the super crazy ones that you don't need anything else to tell about. Okay, I mean, I've run into some doozies, some strangey doozies that are operating in delusionary land, and they have a lifetime pass to delusionary land. And when you have to break the delusion, right? When you have to break the delusion, this is when you call upon all the other crazy stories and you hit them with craziness after craziness. You show this example, you show this example, you show this example, you show this example. And sometimes it works. But the majority of the times it doesn't.
I call that my panic button collection. Because in our security system in the clinic, I have a little panic button that if something goes a bit nuts and a client goes a bit berserk and I'm stuck in the treatment room with them, I can hit the red button.
Yeah.
But it's a panic button where if I hit the red button, it immediately calls emergency services. It calls like first responders, as well as, the silent alarm in the clinic. But I don't hit it very often, but or I haven't had to hit it very often. But every now and then, as you say, there's an absolute crazy story that comes in that it's usually when they try to physically assault me or whatever, they'll accidentally hit the panic button because they don't know it's tucked under my bra strap or something. Usually they set it off. And but luckily, like in the old clinic, our old clinic was literally right next door to an ambulance station full of, first responders. And so the guys would literally run out their back door and into our place. It was like a 5-second call when they'd race in and, where's Melissa? Is she okay? She's in her room. And so, yeah. But
then I have these sessions where it is the demon in the person calling for the session, not the human being.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm dead serious. No. It's literally the demon that's well in charge of this body, and the body's been listening to the show going, fuck, that guy's good. I want to talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it, and it knows I know it. And then the conversation changed because the human inside's not going to remember 3/4 or virtually any of the things that's going on, and I have to make a determination. Am I reading this demon today? And I have no problems doing it now because I have ways of making the human speak that dispel the demon. These are the contract revocations. I have some very things where I get people go to this repeat after me process, and I have them say a set of words. It's because I'm setting up the 5D, 6D chess moves because the demon starts going, oh, wait, is this for me? Is this for the human? And it doesn't realize it. And all of a sudden the human's back in power and the demon's gone and going, what the fuck's going on?
I like the idea of a demon coming for a reading. Like, tell me what my purpose is.
It's not all gruely like that. Usually they're like very nice and kind, and they truly want to know about themselves. And some actually want to get free of the situation they're in. Yeah. They don't want to be a demon anymore. What's next for me? What can I do? How many people have called, what can I do next for myself?
Yeah, I have actually seen somewhere like with the whole the loop that Earth is in basic language. There are elements from negativity. I think even Melissa, you mentioned like there's viruses that have reignited because of 1,000 years old. It's like I want to leave. There is a section of the dark of like, I've been here for millions of years. It's like being stuck in a crappy amusement park for a month. I want to go home. I hate the carousel is so boring. Dumbo won't leave me alone. And I've eaten candy cane. So I find that fascinating.
It reminds me of?
Like the evolution of Earth is like, even half of the dark side are like, this is enough. Excuse me, I'd like to go home now.
It's like the well, I was going to say the ride, but it's not a ride. It's more of a haunted house thing. But at Universal Studios, you can go through the haunted house thing of the Mummy, of the movie The Mummy. And you can go through there and all sorts of scary things come out of you and all the rest. Actually, it's always a great one to watch people coming out the end of it because they're either in tears or they're laughing hysterically. Either way, they're terrified, right? It's great fun to watch people Xing it. But when you go through it, there's this bit where I don't know what it's spitting at you. It's probably water getting spat at you. I don't know, but it's all the sounds of the scarab beetles and it's freaking terrifying. And you're actually getting hit with stuff that feels like the scarab beetles landing on you. And that's what it feels like on the Earth at the moment. It feels like you're getting hit. It's the moment you go, no, I want out of this. That's it. I'm running. And it's like,
well, you did say earlier that I think it was in the green room or the breakout room that we're
my apologies for the spoiler if you haven't done that thing at Universal Studios, but
just go look at the Cylons, you'll be fine. We're getting sort of near the end of the transition or the break or whatever. Like, cool. Like, obviously there's no timeline for the splitting. is it more of an event line, or like, as I said, I haven't had a furlough for about 7 million years. So just, you got a couple of psychics here. Yeah, just give us a hint give us a quick scorecard of how we're going.
So there was a question in the chat room: where do demons go when they die? Okay.
Yes.
So that's a no. All right.
So no. So you don't deserve a vacation. You need another 7 million years, Monty. You're a lazy time lord. You can go on vacation anytime.
All right. I should just change timelines again. All right.
Yes, there you go.
See you next week.
Yes. So where do demons go?
Demons die.
Yeah. Where do they go? Before it died, it was something, and has continued on in the realm, learning how to harvest energy from living people. And when you learn 50 or 60 ways of harvesting energy, you get raised from thug to scallywag until finally top levels demon, thousands of ways of harvesting energy. And generally you're 500 plus years old, 700 plus years old. Where does the demon go when it finally passes over? Its last human incarnation. That's the astral world it goes to, with all the karma that it did attached to it.
Whoa.
Okay? Now, the other question is, do demons turn into angels? The answer is yes. They do. They reach a breaking point in which the work that they do starts working for the light. They act as a fifth column or as an insurgency within demonic orders and help angels take their groups down. And then they offer themselves up to the Galactic Central Core, which is saying, neutralize me. Whatever I am, presence I am, return me to the oblivion and abyss of nothingness. Okay, or they convert, because once you give yourself up to the abyss of nothingness, you can transmute and transform back into an angelic being.
Yeah.
Wow.
A bit of wet sec. I've been watching too many criminal shows, so you can turn someone and they can go into wet sec and they can give evidence.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's all quite nicely documented in the 100,000 Songs of Milarepa, by the way. He converted a lot of demons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got to admit, it's not hard.
There's a great question there about.
It's hard. It's harder. It's harder.
Try this at home.
It's harder to convert a Trumpistanian or a lefty than it is a demon.
Welcome to Earth. It's easy.
There's a great question in the chat room about whether or not you can stop a demon harvesting from you. Yeah, you can.
Absolutely.
You're absolutely more powerful than you know. I actually did this week. I've done 2. This is like my favorite session to do on someone. It's called an axial initiation. And actually 2 spectacularly powerful ones this week. And in the axial, what it is, your axial presence, which is what I call it here on this planet, that makes people actually understand what I'm talking about when I talk about it, is the whole of who you are, right? So this is you, the little human. This is actually who you are. All right, human representation. You're huge. Your axial presence is that whole of who you are. When I do an axial initiation, I actually reignite and recover that axial structure around you, which is multidimensional and bloody fabulous. It's one of the most beautiful things you'll ever see. And because it's you, it's all of you. So if you can even imagine, I mean, I can rant about this forever, can't I, Mont? I'll stop myself. But it's like, I know Monty's going, Mel, don't start on the axial. But it's like, but when that is in its whole vibratory, unique imprint and actually functioning as it should again, you can't be touched. They can't harvest from you. Now, everyone comes in, and we all have battered forms of it. And one of the people that I worked on this week, let me think of a movie you might have seen. So Marvel movie, the Avengers, I think it's Age of Ultron. And there's this moment where Jarvis, the computer, Jarvis gets attacked by Ultron. And when they show you the visual of it, he's all this little patchy, little orange, injured version of Jarvis. That's what this person's axial looked like. It was so damaged, so assaulted, so after many, many lifetimes too, not just from this lifetime here on Earth. And to actually do the axial for this particular individual was such a beautiful thing to do. In the second stage of the axial initiation, I actually initiate it back into their unique vibratory imprint. So it goes back that no one else can take from you, that's yours. And it's one of the most exquisite things you see, because the entire axial lifts and takes up and expands and then fires out through. Oh, it's just gorgeous to watch. And to see that, and to see anything that thought it could hold on, harvest from her, attachments, entities, anything like that, were just fired out into the various ethers. Okay. And it is spectacular what it can do. The short answer is, can you stop someone harvesting? Yeah, keep your vibration high, but we're human. Right. And we keep getting hit. We keep getting hit by life.
Learn sovereignty and the expression of sovereignty. It's just not a piece. It's just not a word in the dictionary, and it's not a law word. It's a spiritual word. And when you begin to learn to enforce your willpower at the micro level, you can reinforce the fortifying of your reality, and then learn the next aspects of gaining your light and getting it back from the ways that you've given power away to the whole world. Okay, demons have access to infinite amounts of ways. You got to start closing the loopholes, and that's why the daily practice is so important. And once you get good at the daily practice, the number of loopholes that are there are very small, and they get smaller and smaller and smaller. And that means anything around you has to be much smarter than the average, thug demon that's around there that only knows 30 or 40 ways of harvesting energy versus tens of thousands.
And there's a slight bonus as well when you can attain that, where you're defending yourself and you're in a neutral state, is when you watch people that have been either harvested on by demons or demons controlling someone. Like, I don't think Melissa knows this person, but the rest of us do, on a certain radio station, where it's just like, oh, look, sometimes I don't think the demon does anything. The human just starts doing the whole ranting and just doom and gloom. And because you can just see a demon feeding on that energy. It's fascinating. It's really, we're like, oh, you're doing that now.
It's like he's like an artesian well of loosh.
Yeah. I think sometimes the demon needs to rest occasionally because the human's just going on and on and on.
Yeah. So we had another question in the chat. 1 second here. Let's read my thing up.
I think I saw it too. Oh,
boom mic.
The boom mic is working really well tonight, by the way, Bruce. I love it. It sounds really good. But I think everyone needs to order them.
I don't want a fist fight to say stuff, man. It gets pretty nasty in here, Robert. It's like a cage full of badgers.
Hey, from my end, I'm just watching things pop in and out.
Badgers? We don't know stinking badgers. Yeah.
Is it was it the question about do Bible verses help, Andrew?
Yes, that's what it was. Sorry, I had a whole bunch of people direct messaging me. For anyone that's trying to direct messaging me during the show is really, really bad. I have to pay attention to like 25 things, so I don't hear it. And then when I'm actually trying to message Robert in the back about production stuff, I'm messaging somebody else. Where, Robert, did you play this Thursday? Whatever it is. So please don't direct message me.
So back to Bible verses. My answer, no, they don't help. Sorry.
So they do, but your faith is a part of it. So if you don't believe in God and you hate church and you just go do Bible verses, what is it going to do? You're singing at the demon. You've got no faith behind it. There are unique quotes in the Bible and verses and Psalms in the Bible that can be incredibly uplifting. Yes. But if you don't have faith inside you, you're just talking, and the thing is going to be like, seriously? Another Bible thumper with no faith? Geez, it's like ordering food delivered to me.
Yeah, don't approach it from religion, approach it from spirit. I mean, there's sort of 3 rules of keeping your vibration up. You keep your vibration high, you stay attuned to the source, to spirit, to the whole, and you trust, which is the hardest of the 3 for sure.
So, again, they said it'll be fun. They said you'll learn. They said.
So the other part about that question is that an innocent question. It is, but you can't allow innocence to be your excuse anymore. Nor can you continue to be blissfully ignorant. If you've listened to the show for any amount of time, you would have known that that's the answer already. And if you're brand new to the show, you got to catch up. Absolutely got to catch up. Do the contract revocations. They're literally designed to stop our energy harvesting.
Well, but see, I'm not a big fan of the Bible because it's written by man and it's not from spirit, great spirit, flying spaghetti monster, whatever.
No, it's
however, if you get a good grip on the book, you can thump someone really hard in the head with it. So it can be used as a weapon. I'm just putting it out there. And if you've got the Book of Mormon on the other side, and just back to you.
Right. Or you've got a Buddhic text or this or that text. It's still the faith inside you and your connection to the source within. And yes, there's an external source that can be recognized. That's the unfortunate aspect of the majority of the Christian and the Muslim religion is forcing everything external instead of it being internal. If you take the teachings of Christ and Buddha and all the other ones and internalizes versus externalize them, you will learn a lot more.
And if you don't believe in any religion at all and you like sci-fi, just watch Empire Strikes Back and listen to the teachings of Master Yoda.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So where are we at? Do we want to take calls?
Yeah.
Well, I will let you all do the instructions to the callers because we know what happens when I do it.
Okay, well, so if you'd like to call into the show, you click on reactions and raise your hand. And if you don't, Andrew's going to call you a chicken shit. There we go. Got two. Going for three at the back there. Four. So yeah, we'll start. We'll get someone on at 5. 4, yeah, excellent. Because it's a wheel, not. I don't. Did I get a text or is a cow dying? Oh, 3, 4. Just one more, because get a. What's with the farm animals, Robert? Where do you live?
Yeah, I have to send you some pictures.
Yeah. Okay then. All right. Well, we'll go 4. That's good enough. So spin up the wheel of callers and see what happens. Since half the panel walked away.
Catherine, catnip. Signal to unmute.
Hi there. Thank you so much.
Where are you calling from, Catherine?
I'm calling from San Diego, California.
Welcome to the show. Are we entertaining you today?
Oh, it's been such a wonderful thing to listen to always. I enjoy it very, very much. Thank you for all of your points of view. I definitely wasn't expecting to hear MK Ultra not being a source, and that was really cool to have a different perspective. So thank you. My question was, I asked in the chat, is there a revocation that supports our being able to remember, since we have such a collective amnesia? Which one is it?
It's called the Mandela Effect Revocation.
It's the one.
Yes, it's a very long one, and it is meant to train you in the triathlon of endurance. Just like the Union and Communion Collective Conscious Strike, it's designed, can you maintain high frequency for an extended period of time? And the practicing of it is putting you in training for the spiritual triathlon. And it has so many different aspects, both of them, that are meant to dig deep into you at the parts of you that have given away power and to get that power back into the deepest parts. So you have the deepest energy reserves that are out there.
Because I've done it and it was incredible. It was just really, I could feel sort of that kind of flying in and flying out and trying to stay present a triathlon is a really accurate description.
Right. And it's not meant to be done once. It's meant to be done dozens and dozens of times. And each time recording yourself and then going back later in a meditative state and listening. And can you feel the transference of the words from your other presence to your current presence so that you can refine how potent you can make your words, when to emote, when to change your pace and speed, when to put that power and raise the voice, and when to be soft and caring.
And I love all of that. And so I do revocations of different kinds every day and the declaration on the daily, but I will take that to a new level. Thank you for that inspiration. Can I ask
hold on a second. Have you done the Union and Communion Consciousness Strike?
I don't think I have.
So, Robert, can you put a link in the chat? That one's another really long one. And the full one's 19 pages.
Oh, wow.
So you should do those back to back. The consciousness strike followed by the Mandela revocation. And that's about 10,000 plus words. So it's about 36 pages. And that's the sextathlon, septuple.
Wow.
That's your training in 6 different levels of gaining your power back and exercising your will.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for creating these for us. Oh my goodness. It was the way that I found you, actually, was that I woke up in the middle of the night and tripped over one of the revocation recordings, and it just took me to a whole other level. And I so appreciate the way those have been offered for us.
Yeah, and they're all out there for free. Again, I want them out there for that particular reason. So people like you could trip over them in the middle of the night and go, what the fuck?
I did a more of a hallelujah.
Or hallelujahs, exactly.
Yep. I was super grateful. Can I ask a separate question?
Sure, go right ahead.
What is the best way for me to support they really support my son? He's a little bit behind in understanding connection, but I feel like I've tried to provide as much flexibility as I can for me. Is there anything else that I could do to support him without doing it for him? To sort of
how old is he?
He's 21.
And is he even diagnosed with any mental illnesses?
Not officially, but I'd say he's ADHD, but he's just social anxiety. I mean, he's sort of emotionally 16, but then he's a very interesting being.
Let me tune in specific for him. Tell me a little bit more about him, and I need you to take mom filter out.
Yep.
As if you were describing a neighbor's child.
Sure. He loves history, and he has loved history.
A mom would not say that about a neighbor's child. Disassociate for a second.
Okay.
What makes him awkward?
People. Around and that he really is sensitive to energy.
No, that's still being the mom.
Okay.
So like a neighbor would say, like he's kind of quiet, or he twitches when he's talking to people. You mean that point of view, don't you, Andrew? It's that.
Yeah, it's exactly.
The outside. It's the outside point of view.
If you looked at him, you actually wouldn't be able to tell he's having an issue. He's polite. He's kind. You really can't. You'd think, what a good guy. So really, it doesn't show. I just know that he wants to be further along. I want to have him, and yet, I'm in the space of just, being like, well, this is where you're at, dude, and you just got to do the best you can.
What kind of jobs has he done?
He works in 2 different restaurants, now he works in one restaurant. He's just been promoted to an assistant manager, and he's taking on more responsibility, and he's, but he was doing work at home, and then I encouraged him to do volunteer work to get out, and he did, and then he started to really grow, and then it really started to take off. So I think maybe he's okay, but he's never had a girlfriend, and he, and I know that that bothers him, but that's sort of the social part of trying to figure out how to, make that connection. But he was overweight, and then he shed a bunch of weight. So now he's got more confidence, but he was overweight for a long time, and that also impacted his confidence. But now he's just, he wants to be a writer.
How open is he to you giving him advice?
Highly.
So he said he wants to be a writer. Does he actually write?
Yes. And yet he got stuck. But I think when he was writing, he was world building, like in a Tolkien style of writing about.
Okay, I fully understand that. I'm a world builder too. So the first thing to understand is what's going on him is extreme doubt in himself.
Yes.
That breeds a pathological hesitation. which makes him socially awkward.
Yes.
So the world building, the doubt's not there, and the extreme hesitation isn't there because he's in control. Highly encourage him to continue writing, but to create characters that are slightly reflective of him. Example, in the fantasy type Tolkien worlds, you have somebody that is more like you, and he's going, why would I do that? Because every character is you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so make a character has no social skills, but help him gain social skills through the story.
It's almost as if that's where he has the confidence. I mean, when he was 13 on a holiday break, he just wrote his first story, his first sort of novel called The Eagle and the Dove, and it was the story of a World War I trench veteran who had survivor guilt.
And that's past life energy coming through.
Totally. And because
past life energy coming through,
he's been channeling all these past lives and kind of knows it. I think he gets confused about how he's reflecting, to reflect a character that he knows was him in another life, and he's conscious of it. So I think a part of him, when he does that, he ends up feeling like, well, that was just another life. It's not this life. Because he can feel, I can feel that he's just channeling out of other dimensions.
Yeah. 1 second. Robert, can you unmute Melissa? She finally got back in. So there's more going on here. Obviously, the kid has a psychic skill. Now,
very much
Bruce. So I want you to comment on something for young writers. You started off as a young writer. You had, you were kicked out when you were 16, and you had to put yourself, claw and kick and get yourself into that writing state, and eventually, graduate for your degree as a reporter.
Yeah, so writing is a wonderful way to reconstitute yourself if you're coming from a difficult background. Now, that's no commentary on your home, but for whatever reason, he prefers his inner world to the outer world. I was very much the same. Mind you, I had already started formal spiritual practice at 17, turning 18. So I started meditating, and a meditation instructor said you should keep a journal of your dreams and whatever you see in meditation. And that's literally how I started writing at 18. But here's a little tip. Try to write at the same time every day. It's also, they do the same thing when you get a meditation initiation. They tell you, try to do your meditation at the same time every day, 4:30 in the morning or whatever. The same applies to writing. And the person that emerges in that writer space will come through his skin as a personality in his 20s, and that will be the new him. It's a chrysalis. It's a pupation, caterpillar to butterfly.
Yeah, he had
good for him.
The writer's block was so intense that I hired, I tried to create sessions, where people could sort of help move any energy that was there, and big, wonderful spiritual things happened, but it didn't move his block.
And because he lost confidence in his world.
Yeah.
So he lost. That's again that extreme doubt and hesitation. Okay, he doubted anyone would ever read anything he ever created. Now, do you regularly read his material?
I have encouraged to have him like make audios, because when I hear him read it and he reads it.
You read it.
Yeah, to sit and read it, it is too intense for me to sit and read, because it's like war scenes, and it's get
over it. Get over it. If he's trying to share you these stories, you have to come from the world building experience, and that he's writing a story. So if you truly want to help him, get over the story content. Okay. He needs human feedback.
Yeah.
And if you don't like the story, you're putting more doubt and more negativity in him by going, I can't read it. It's war stuff. Seriously.
Well, I listen to. I have him read it to me.
No,
I just don't hold it in my hand.
Read it. It's a personal experience when somebody actually reads it versus it being forced onto someone.
Right.
And you are destroying confidence when you don't actually do that.
It's engaging your own personal imagination. Like when you read it, the mind creates a certain uniqueness.
I mean,
if he's reading it to him, it's the lens is coming through him instead of even like you're holding it, and then your imagination kicks in, and your unique imagination would create the world.
I mean, he has a whole
Catherine, if I can pipe in as a parent as well. I've got 5 kids. If you haven't met me before, I've got 5 kids.
Do you want one? No,
and
oh, Jesus.
And I've got an incredible household of creatives. I've got extraordinarily talented musicians, songwriters, all sorts of stuff, incredible writers and everything. One of my young adult daughters, she's 19, is an incredible writer. And she is one person, her prime communication is dream space. Every night, she has the most exceptional communication come through it. Every day, I have to hear about it. And there goes the parent thing. You heard the have to, right? And let's just be really honest, it gets fatiguing having to actually listen or read or every day their work. So I actually get the parental fatigue as well, particularly when they're off game, like this is at the moment for you. But the fact that, I'm going to be really honest, I'm just one human person. I'm a sole parent, and I have been for a long time. So I get super fatigued, right? Because I'm playing all roles for all of my kids. But there are days when I can't help but go, oh, that sucked. Like my face shows it. I've not got a poker face at all. And so I have to work so hard to not do that on a day when I'm super tired and I've got so much on my plate, and then I have to sit down and read the latest writings of what's gone on, particularly with her dreams are phenomenal. The communication is amazing, but the communication is personal for her. And if I have to sit down and read it, I can get super fatigued all the time doing it. But as they've all said, the importance of doing that for her as a human is too great. Like she's 19 and she's 19. She's a girl and she's 19. So if I react in any way to it, it's always a negative thing, right? I always get the full on from, you can imagine. But the time that I spend doing it is where the money is. That's the time that I still do it, even though I might cop abuse for reacting to it in a way that she's perceived as negative. Still, it's the time that's rebuilding her confidence in self.
Exactly. Yeah. And what if he's the next Stephen King?
Oh God, I hope not.
Okay. No. I mean, Stephen King is a fabulous writer and has encouraged millions of people into the writing world.
Yep. Okay, again, as a writer, not as a person. Mel, not
as a writer.
As a writer.
Yeah.
Okay, what if he's the next? What if he's the next Stephen King?
I think the thing that stands out to me enormously right now is thank you for calling out where I didn't even realize how much I had a resistance to actually sitting with it out of my own fear of really kind of getting so pulled into it and almost not getting out, and the exhaustion factors there for sure. So I thank you for calling out the resistance. I also became vividly aware that his father, who I'm not with, also would get into projects and get lost in them, and that was what really ruined our marriage. And it was lost in the books and getting lost in the stories. And so I realized that that's actually showing me that wound is there and needs to get moved through. I will definitely do self-forgiveness work about this, because of course I can feel that contraction of sort of shame and, oh, I should have done this, I should have leaned in more. And it really was supportive in every, in so many different ways, and, designed covers and, presented other, did so many other things. But the one thing I didn't do is actually sit and hold it and read it. And I will. Yeah. And I really will.
It's actually a physical. Parental guilt's always going to harass us, Catherine. We're in it together. Don't worry.
He should also join Reddit groups, and they'll zero right in on the kind of fiction he's reading. It's fantasy. And he'll meet other people his own age, exactly like him. He'll realize he's not alone. Oh, I'm of this archetype of writer. And it's very liberating. It's very beautiful. Yeah.
That's what he's on. He's on at least 2 different ones, and he has friends all around the world who contribute and help him organize the hierarchy of the they really do lineages. I mean, it's very complex and it's
the same. It's the same thing I do with my story. So I'm very familiar. What kind of work schedule is he on? What are his hours?
He has recently just downgraded, where before he was working almost 7 days a week. Like last week he did 4 doubles, so he barely had any time left, but he's just shifted, so now he's doing one job and he'll actually have his evenings off now for the first time.
Is he is he like 11 to 7?
He was doing like 8 to 3 and then 5 to 10.
So what is his new schedule going to look like?
His new schedule will be more like 8, will be a little bit more like 8 to 5, 8 to 6. Somewhere.
Okay, that's really an awful situation for a writer, which means he has to do his writing late night or on the weekends. So my first micro piece of advice is every week ask him to just print it out and go out and have dinner with him and read it over dinner, and just tell him, give me 10 pages at a time.
That's great.
Okay, 10 pages at a time, and over a meal he will open up to you. Okay, pizza, burgers, whatever. You read it while you're eating, while you're reading, and go back and forth and go, why did you do it like this? Or if it's a really horrible battle scene, you go, are you trying to do the horror of battle? What are you trying to get out of this? I may not like that, but if you're going to try to get to more writers, why don't you do something that's more like what H.P. Lovecraft does? Infer the violence, infer the evil at places.
Like, what's the point of the violence? Not just to
what's
be
the
violent.
point, right?
Yeah, what's the point of it? And also, like, it's that's the thing, is like to have it printed out instead of reading it on a screen, right? Because it's a totally different experience.
Right. And like, let me tell you, I've written hundreds of battle scenes and horror scenes in my stories. And I did it for the horror effect of writing when I wrote it. And then I went back months and years later going, that was dumb. That was like 6 pages of describing the blood and the this and the that. And then as I got back into the character, there were unique moments where it was absolutely necessary. And that was the early Andrew writer coming out, foreshadowing the darkness that was to come for that character, the downfall of the good guy to becoming the bad guy.
Well, especially in battle, I mean, the main thing instead of the horror of it all happening, trauma. And then you can concentrate on certain aspects of the battle of a character, which sets up, you can see where the trauma comes from, and that is addressed, or however you want to, the story unfolds later on. Like, I'm watching a TV show called Snowfall, and one of the characters is an ex-Vietnam veteran, and for whatever reason he ends up at a VA, a Veteran Affairs hospital, and sits in with like a Alcoholics Anonymous session, but it's not alcoholic. They're just talking about what
vets.
Vets.
And it's like, it's the same thing even here in Australia, because Australians went to Vietnam as well. You can actually get comedy out of this stuff. I won't go into it, but that war was such. Oh yeah, I can send you some stuff, Bruce. You'll like it. There's so much trauma, and I mean, it's been going on for 2,000 years. Like, the Romans had the same problem with troops coming home after war with the trauma, and how it unfolds in their normal lives.
Another thing. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think because he doesn't have the personal experience of like being, like having a romantic experience with a girl, or that when it comes to having to talk about that part of relationships, I think he's coming up against sort of the shame of, I don't have experience here. I've never actually held a girl's hand. I've never had a chance to kiss one, and I want to, but I don't know how. And I think that shame shutdown is happening, even though he's watched movies and he's seen things, but I think there's some part of that heart healing that he's also longing for. Because I mean, historically, he knows he's been historically adept since he was really, really, really little.
Fortunately, natural writers are introverts. Okay, and this is where you get an opportunity. Once you get into his world and understand the world that he's built, you can give him writer challenges between week after week. All right, can you write a love scene, not a sex scene? Okay, not a sex scene. And then have him write a sex scene. Yeah, I know as a mother and a kid reading the sex scene, but if it fits the world or not. Okay?
Right.
Because
then
it will
mother,
teach,
so you've got your own experience.
Yeah, right. And it will teach him the love scene of what real love is and what real relationships can feel like. And he'll know the good writing right away because it's going to be natural. And this is where you can begin to influence him on the very subtle level because you've invested into his world and are feeding confidence back to him. You get the next opportunity of helping him chart a greater course.
Yeah. I feel
Catherine, have you got a pen there?
Yes,
as someone that's actually I was formerly in the military and I've seen some interesting action. And I can speak from experience when I say anyone that actually has gone into an actual physical battle zone on this planet, you don't talk about it from the front end. You always, if you write about it, it's always from the end result reflective. And so here's a couple of writing challenges you could throw at him, because I opened a chapter once by saying, talking about the injuries to my hands, talking about the bruises, wounds, scratches, cuts all over my hands and the ache of them. And I'll let you phrase it how you want to. I won't exactly quote myself, but go from the back end, from something from a battle zone, talk about that, go from a really personal one soldier's experience of someone else's blood is on my face or something like that. Open that line. When it comes to romance, do the same. Go from the back end for him, because whether he's in tune with it or not deliberately, he's got hundreds and hundreds of past lives behind him. So he does have romantic experience. Yeah. Think about Norah Jones writing some of the most amazing love songs when she was 14 and had no experience in them.
And no experience. Exactly.
And so get him to go from the back end of, I can still taste her on my lips or something like that. And he will go back into it from how he has that taste still on his lips.
And being creative that's the other fun part of creating a world, is like you're really in control of everything that happens. And
literally.
It's so like, if it's past life, I was in World War One. I found out I was in World War Two, and I'm forgetting all that. World War One I can remember. But you can still in my past life, I was in World War One, and then we had to go over the top, and I ran towards the machine guns and got killed. I was only at the front line for 8 days. Well, you're a writer. You could actually he's a writer, create a soldier that survives the entire 4 years and looks at the horror of everything. So you can take. You don't have to write the exact thing that happened in a past life. You can even now, actually, since we've got Andrew and Melissa here, and Bruce, let's be fair, everyone here, by writing that, it's a group. By writing,
Monty, I'm here too. I just have to say something.
All right, Bob, Bert, Robert, whatever your name is,
and the cows.
And it's freaking cows, yeah. By writing a story, by not changing the timeline, but creating a story where everything goes right, does that have a spiritual effect on, say, if I write a story about World War One where I don't stand on a landmine, I could, I make up my own timeline. I'm not creating a timeline, but I make up a story about righting a wrong or something like that. Does that actually do anything?
And it absolutely does. It completes a karmic circuit through creativity. Ooh. And it is healing the negative karma by allowing the creativity to flow without the actual trauma in the body.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay?
And I've actually said that to him, and I think to a degree there's a part of me that almost wonders if he successfully closed enough loops, and that's why he's having a harder time writing, is because he's
it has nothing to do with it. It's getting true feedback from a human being that's in front of him.
Yeah, that too. I know.
That's the key. It's the human feedback from somebody he truly cares for and cares back from, not a person on the internet that you may have become friends with, but you have not broke bread with him. You have not shared all these unique experiences. As a young writer, my parents could never read any of my stuff. They don't even listen to any of the material I say. In the 10 plus years of doing this and traveling around the world, nobody in my family has listened to more than an hour of my material.
Wow.
Okay. None of them have read the book. I will say only recently did my mom finish reading the book, and it's been out almost a year. And she can't give any real honest feedback because it's so against her perception and point of view of the world. Now, when it came to my stories, you got to read it. I can't. I don't like the way you read. That just sapped everything about me until I found real human people I could break bread with and share and converse and be in that situation where even if they weren't a writer, they could give you just a nugget of a feedback that could keep that confidence going.
Yeah. And the thing about
Catherine, I'll tell you a really sad story is that my first book was an international bestseller, all that sort of stuff. My mother never read it. She refused to read it. She died very suddenly. And when the paramedics found her, she had my book in her hand.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She never read it, never opened it. It was still uncracked. She had it on her bedside table, but wouldn't touch it.
Yep.
Wow. And so, yeah, don't be that.
Why does that happen with parents and kids? Like, it feels like it's a dynamic.
That's karma. That's karma.
She was afraid I wrote bad things about her, which I actually didn't.
Yeah.
All I wrote about my childhood was that it was not an easy childhood, and I can't have been an easy child.
Right. Balance. Yeah. There's also the element like, say, you know, my family try at least once to see either do stand up or music or whatever I do, but I think there's there's a karma aspect to give balance, if that makes sense. So instead of the spiritual ego going, look, I'm a god, and your brother goes, no, you're not. Stop that. Get out of the way. You know, like there seems to be a karmic balance and also part of the experience. So I can understand where Andrew's saying, you know, you've got all this information. The family's like, yeah, but don't you want to open a restaurant? Like, you know, like, you know, type thing. And so, yeah, I think there's a grounding aspect as well, depending on, it's all unique with different families, but there is sort of it gives balance so you don't go completely off your tree and all that type of stuff.
And then ultimately getting him to go to a writer's conference.
Yes.
Even if it's once a year, and to encourage him to do that. And again, encourage him to a real writer's conference.
Not one of those publisher ones where they're looking for you to sign up with their self-publishing subsidiary. Not one of those. All right. Send him to a real writers' conference where it's a creative pool.
And they give you real feedback on your work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go to a hotel, not a timeshare. It's that type of thing.
Right.
Gotcha.
So, Darwin, you have been a great teacher for a lot of other people. There are a lot of other parents in the exact same situation where they don't know how to deal with their creative children. Okay. And just understand, he is in a phase right now. And again, writers are introverts. Remember that part. He doesn't have female experiences in this lifetime, but they will come through his past lifetime, just like Melissa said. You just got to help him unlock his writer creativity with it.
Yeah, no, I get it. I definitely get it, and I will do the forgiveness work as well because I can. Thank you so much, everyone.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
All right, Robert, you want to spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next?
All righty, Fred Bond, you're next, Fred.
Fred Bond, are you there?
Fred Bond.
Can you unmute Fred Bond?
2022 and nothing works.
Fred, are you there?
Yes.
Hi, where are you calling from?
Michigan.
You got to come a lot closer to the phone.
Yeah, it's like, are you yelling from Michigan?
Yes, I wanted to talk about a lightning storm that I had witnessed. I think it was in 2019. It was one hell of a lightning storm. It was kind of reminded me of Captain Kirk and the Nexus. It was a long tubular thing, and it had lightning. This thing was so long, and continuous thunder and lightning strikes from within the cloud. Some of the lightning strikes were the length of the cloud, and it came out of the west and was headed east
And so was it a fast-moving cloud? I'm from Ohio, so I know what your thunderstorms are like. We have the exact same ones. Was it fast-moving or slow-moving?
It was slow-moving.
All right, you were actually watching a ship charge up on the light filaments. That was a ship in a cloaked position, entering the lightning stream and charging its dimensional batteries, and then going somewhere else in the universe.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you got to see it, Fred.
Like that before.
It happens over the Great Lakes all the time. You just have to know what you're looking for.
Yeah, because none of the strikes went to ground.
Right. The ship was attracting the strikes to it.
Darn, no camera.
Well, you got a memory.
No, you got to set up a lightning camera, an outdoor camera that's waterproof. And whenever the lightning storms start, you just turn it on, and the next day go back and slowly review it. People have been doing this since the dawn of lightning, getting it on camera.
To one gentleman, he happened to use multiple cameras so that he could get a faster, better replay.
Yep. As well as ones that are sound sensitive, so the thunder hits before you see the lightning, or the lightning hits and the thunder comes. So there are ways of capturing lightning. You just got to enter the photography world of that people that experience lightning, and you'll see all the techniques out there. Like I said, if you just got a waterproof camera, you stick it on your roof, you point it up to a certain part of the sky, and you just let it run and run and run and run, and you go back and review it. And the more higher pixel the camera is, the more intense it'll be. It's about you setting up the camera in the right place.
Is there an element of permission from the ship allowing to be seen by Fred?
Not really, because once it enters the charging stream, the rules kind of don't really exist anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So it's more luck. So lucky you. I'm just getting at. Sometimes
I appreciate
he saw it.
The condition would be if it uncloaked for him.
Oh, fair. All right. Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
I appreciate this, and I thank you very much. You can go ahead and mute me back again. Thank you.
Thanks for calling in. That was a fun question to answer.
Yeah, it was more Friday than comedy, but hey, it can be Friday.
Thank you.
All right, Robert, spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
Okay, Mitz, your signal to unmute. Mitz,
are you there?
Hello.
Hello, where are you calling from?
Hi. I'm calling from New York City.
New York City. What do you think of the show so far?
It was funny today, but I had to miss the front part of it because my earbuds ran out of batteries and I was getting food. But it was good.
Okay, so what do you want to talk about today?
Speaking of spaceships, I was just wondering. I took some little mushrooms on the day of the blood moon, and I thought I saw some almost like Christmas lights outside my apartment, but I couldn't see it through the trees. So I was just wondering if there's like a spaceship there or something funky.
So was it on your peripheral vision first, or was it right straight you looking through the window and it was there?
I was looking through the window, but it was through the tree. I have a big tree outside my apartment. But it wasn't coming through the leaves. Like the canopy was completely blocking it, but no.
That was the mushroom speaking.
Oh, what was it?
And it was trying to get your attention of an energy in the room that was already present it was trying to attract your attention for you to take down some of your trust filters, where you can begin an artistic expression through the lights. The lights are going to trigger artistic energy, writing, singing, dancing, artwork, etc. It's a trigger of a creativity. And once you enter that creative space on the mushrooms, a spiritual giggle takes over. And what that does is encourage more and more and more. And then there'll be a subtle voice with this creativity. And that's the external world from the mushrooms trying to influence the creativity to go to super creativity.
I see. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anything else you want to ask?
I do, but my animal's not here, so I'll just call it another time. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Friday.
Have a great day.
Happy
yes,
Friday.
happy Friday to you too. All right, Robert, spin up the wheel of callers and see who is one person with their hands raised. The wheel of singular callers.
I hope the magic wheel of callers can handle this, Tanya. Signal to you, Tanya.
Tanya, are you there?
Hello.
Hi, where are you calling from?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello. Hi.
No.
Can you hear us?
I'm calling from San Francisco. Maybe I'll go where my internet's a little bit better.
Yes, still you're calling from San Francisco. Do you like the show so far?
I'm laughing, and there's been so many wonderful insights from all y'all tonight. So thank you. Very much appreciated. Thank you.
Great. What did you want to talk about tonight?
So, okay, well, staying in the comedy vein, I have a joke for you.
Ooh. Tell us your joke.
Okay, so a Syrian, a Pleiadian, an Arcturian walk into a space bar at the end of the universe.
Okay.
The bartender pours them the house drink. They all get the house drink and they drink it. And the Syrian drinks the drink, and all of a sudden, the calculus for the speed of light pops above his head. And the Pleiadian drinks the drink, and the Pleiadian has 16 orgasms. And the Arcturian drinks the drink, and the Arcturian turns into an orb, and then turns into Elvis. And starts kind of like that shimmy and dancing and singing like Elvis. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the bar, from the darkness, there's a voice that says, "Hey, knock it off. You're doing my act."
You're doing my act. Wah, 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 wah.
Okay, I have another one for you.
Go ahead.
How many Arcturians does it take to change a light bulb?
None. It's the light worker's job.
Well, one.
It's actually
one, but he doesn't have to change. The Arcturian doesn't have to change the light bulb. They just turn into an orb and light the room.
I was about to say they are the light bulb.
It's actually how many. The real line is how many ascended masters does it take to change a light bulb? 0. It's the human's job.
Yeah. Well, it's close.
I've got a whole bunch of ascended master light bulb jokes.
It's very similar to the psychology. How many
I really love the concept of so and so and so and so walk into a bar at the end of the universe, and then what happens? I don't know. You tell me.
If you want to lose a serious amount of weight,
now
take a hand.
You all have made me think. Well, what's the next one, right? So I say an angel, a demon, and a human.
And there's one person standing
walk
there.
Into a bar at the end of the universe, right? And then what?
The human gets served. The human gets served, and the angel and the demon get kicked out.
Except the human gets served by a guy dressed in a fox suit.
Yeah, or a furry.
Yeah, or something,
I like it. It's a simple street gag, but I like the one of a rabbi, a priest, and an imam walking into a bar, and the barman says, "Is this some type of joke?"
Yes, is this some type of that one? That one's always classic.
Well, okay, so an Englishman and an Irishman and a Scotsman walk into a bar, and the bartender pours them the house beer, and the Englishman drinks it. Well, he realizes there's a fly in the bottom of the glass, and he says, "There's a fly in my glass." He takes it out, sends the beer back. The Irishman sees that there's a fly in his beer, and he drinks it. And then the Scotsman drinks his beer, takes the fly out of his mouth, and looks at him and says, "Spit it out, you wee shit." All right.
All right, darling.
Part of my ancestry is Scottish, and I'm offended to that.
Darling, we're at the end of the show. We're gonna call it a night here. Thanks a lot for calling in.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Right.
Thanks, Danielle.
Bye.
Monty, you want to give away for people to get a hold of you?
Well, today I'm still on YouTube, but we'll see how that goes. Wafer Thin Entertainment on Odyssey, Rumble, as well as BitChute, on Facebook, as well as Twitter and Instagram, and Monty Dean for all the other stuff. On Twitter, I'm at Real Monty Dean. I have my own roundtable show that Bruce turns up to called Planet Collingwood at 2 a.m. New York time on Revolution Radio Studio A. And I have started producing or helping out Sean David Morton on Thursday nights, Wednesday mornings. No, Wednesday. What day? Wednesday nights, Thursday mornings on Revolution Radio on the Hawk's Nest, which is through freedomslips.com. And in about 20 minutes, I'll be appearing at my local Bunnings to buy some things.
Melissa, want to give away people to get a hold of you?
Look, easy to find me. Website's melissahockinghughes.com. If you go to that website, there is a sign up. We add your email address for the newsletter that you'll be lucky to get once a month because I write it myself. If you sign up for that, it'll take you to a free self-healing course. If it doesn't take you to a free self-healing course, message me and I will send you the link. All right. A number of people off this audience had a problem with it, and they can guarantee I'll send you straight to it anyway. You can find me on all sorts of social media, everything, Twitter, all of that good stuff. And there is a new group on Facebook called The Irrepressible Healer in You. Join that. There's going to be live streams from that I will give you basic instruction on how to play with quantum bioenergetics, with frequency and communication to help your own health and to help those around you. All right, melissahockinghughes.com.
Bruce, to give away if people got a hold of you.
Yeah, just go to Amazon.com. There you go. Read Stardust if you haven't read it. If not, and then there's also the Galactic Historian, which is over on Andrew's Amazon page. That's what I do. I write.
And don't forget the audiobook there, Bruce.
Yeah. Stardust.
If you're going to do Stardust, do the audiobook. Super powerful.
No, actually, Melissa, I would suggest you buy the audiobook and the paperback so you can read along.
That's right. All right, everyone, you know who I am. You go to my website, andrewbartzis.com. You go to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and anywhere else to find all the content you could possibly want. All right, Robert, take us away.
Each different bubble of reality is true. A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma. Nudge, nudge, it's the Holy Grail. Improvise. Mysterious. It's counter psychic intelligence. Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important? Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality.
Hello, let's create, let's co-create, and let's change this world with love. No matter if you're from Alpha Centauri or Earth, we all began with the same birthing process. We live in a limited point of view. Living the mystical life daily is about striving for the unlimited point of view. Each day, each human being gets an infinite amount of choices. Living the mystical life daily is about facing obstacles and challenges. The level of awareness that you are working at means you have a responsibility to be equal with it. How does one truly let go of expectation? You can make the moment that you wake up to the moment you go to sleep sacred. The keys to success: choice, 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 and choice.